are at the Sunderland Air Show with me, Fluffy, just get the screen around, and my sister-in-law's daughter, Victoria. Wave! Do you like it so far? Even though you've not seen anything. First thing I've got to do, it's 9 o'clock and it's very hot already. So yeah, so the park and ride, and we're walking towards the bus and we're going to catch a bus down. So I might give you a film off the bus.
No, there's no TVs there.
Might go on somebody's television because some people put them on the television.
Are you on my television?
You might be. So I'll be right back. Okay, we have arrived. It's early morning, so it's not too busy to say. And not like traditional air show because that's the runway, sort of, you could say. That's the beach, and that's where they fly. Yeah, going down the stairs. That's where they fly up and down. So it's much better than the usual air show for the view. And yeah, it's pretty empty at the moment, but later this will be packed. And I forgot my connector for the tripod, so you're going to have dodgy vision. Yeah, 2 hours of dodgy vision. Oh well. So have a good look. We'll be able to get in here later. This will just be crowded, about 4,000 people. And the yachts are already starting to gather. Quite a few of them later. And for change, it's not threatened by the weather, it's nice and calm and all that good stuff, so we shall see. We're going to take Victoria, who's very excited there, and we'll get some breakfast somewhere. Hot breakfast. Right.
Go find some breakfast,
I'll be back. Right, here's a view from the other side, a little bit later, getting a little bit busier. You see people there, about half an hour before they start flying, you see people queuing up here, busy. And out to sea we have yachts under the flight line. I'll just put sailing vessels, all sorts, sitting under the flight line there, and there's the rocks further up the coast. A load of holiday homes for sale. How weird. Plenty of burgers and stuff, so there we go. Good, we'll be right back. Must have some American pilots because they've put a big orange sign on the lighthouse. Pretty remarkable, yeah, we know. We can joke that so the American pilots don't fly into it. Dear.
Well, they're going to dry out for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit later, it's getting a bit busy, but just thought I'd point out the name of this restaurant here. Yeah, there you go, have a giggle. There we go. Yeah, it's getting a little bit busier, but got time to start flying. Look, there we go. Victoria's enjoying herself, popping bubbles. I do believe the Red Arrows will be opening. We actually saw them from the house rehearsing last night, so there we go. Right, we'll continue. Well, the air show's not started yet, but you've got a little model helicopter flying around. Seeing Princess Scale, yeah, it's just a little one flying around in this little stand here where they've got loads of model aircraft and stuff. But that's the fine Fluffy, she's running off. And as ever, the ubiquitous Red Arrows. Not many people know. I used to work for them, so I used to see them practice 4 times a day, 5 days a week. Yeah, gets to the point where you're reading a book during display. Well, I haven't seen them for 10 years now, so they might come up with something different.
Is 16, 16 and 5 is 21.
Oh well.
And win number 2 and 3 are 21 straight. So that is the easiest way of winning on this game.
Play them later because you end up carting one of these things around all
Any free
day.
prizes you like?
Yeah, we'll come back later for one of these.
Always vocal that ends up carrying them.
Tiger with number 2 coming down the front here with 1 second.
Transformer truck done up as Optimus Prime. And the Transformers. I'm going to shut you. Advertising simulator thing. It's, yeah, that's quite good. Music and everything. And there's Nintendo 3DS Time Festival of Fun. Not going in because there's huge queues. There we go. Let's get up to the military bit where that stage is up there. And of course, this being a free event that's run by the military, has a big recruitment thing basically. On the stage here, you've got one of their bands. Moment playing a piece from Catch Me If You Can from Leonardo DiCaprio. Over here, of more interest to us geeks, there's some cameras filming on boom cranes, and Planes TV is over there filming as well. So there you go. It's quite a big stage actually, and quite popular. There we go, we're going to head off up into the... Ow, you little bugger. Smack a bum, smack a bum, smack a bum, smack a bum. We're going to head off into the... head off into the military zone. Off again. And with that rather noisy band playing, he's a view across the bay here at Roker, just south of Sunderland, where the air show is. To the lighthouse there. And over here it's getting a lot busy now. It will get a lot busier, but yeah, it's picking up. You see the beaches down there. This one's kept clear for displays and military exercises, but there we go. And all the boats out under the fly line, waiting. Well, nothing's due to be flying yet, but we're just wondering why this guy's come out. It's a Puma, a military helicopter, just above the sea there. And there's a military boat there actually. I think it's a military boat. Look at his blades in the camera.
Is it? It's really slow.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's doing here, but there we go. Off he goes into the distance. And over there we got our Red Arrows model. Some more military stuff there. Did have a display area this last year, but they haven't done that this year. Buffy's eating her...
Can I go on the real ride, on the bouncy rides?
You've been on loads of bouncy rides. It's time for a look around now.
No!
Got a...
No, I did not go on one.
6-year-olds, don't you love them?
I only been on one bouncy ride.
I'm still going to be there.
And you got the helicopter from the Red Arrow up there. So yes, still waiting for the fly. Must be 1 o'clock, so a bit later. Right. Oh, ice cream. Let's go get ice cream.
Or a cat or a rabbit.
Quiet you. I'm going to show everybody on the telly what a monster you are. Are you a monster?
No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're a monster.
I'm not a monster.
Everybody's going to see you're a monster. They can see you.
That's my balloon. You almost bursted it.
You did not. Uh-oh, she's running off. Anyway, ice cream.
Right in. Oh, that's it. Oh, no.
Trying to chuck something at me, wifey? Go on, there's your chance. Jimmy, ready? Would you want to chuck something up, Michelle?
I can do. My hands are full.
There's your chance.
Want to use that one again, Sarah? Loads of water in there.
Go on, right in his face.
Oh, you missed. Here, pass it here and I'll throw it at myself. Ready?
Or inconvenient uncles.
Hey, I'm brave, like. Is that fun?
This is the RAF Typhoon stand here, which will be along later. And we appear to have been joined by a ferry. Come to watch everything. Oh, lovely day for it. Perfect weather. So they're not flying till 1, so we're a bit longer. There we go. I'm nice and cool now after getting soaked. Nice.
Fly over your house.
Okay, can't get near them, but
And I'm pulling my, I don't rub it in your face. Smiley, against the pistol. Start and roll. Anybody who thinks I can't do it anymore, best step right back and take. Did you know applause again then?
Got the Royal Marines doing their combat display.
So, on certain operations, there may be times where we need to dispatch a sentry from its position, because he'll be guarding a specific area. Like the man stood here, here's the sentry. To take him down, you get to him as silently as possible, so no one make any noise, especially for kids. Keep nice and quiet. Now see some techniques we can use to dispatch a sentry. First, hey, leg drag! Keep quiet. Next, the grot. And now, my personal favourite, the Japanese headlock. Take him down. Now, the kick and grab. Set him up, that's it. Take it easy on him. Throw him down. And finally, the sentry's worst nightmare. Disarm and blow to the stomach. Hit him, hit him. Okay, big round of applause. Okay, so normally we end it there. Well, do you want to see a little bit more? Are we sure we're going to see some more? Okay, what shall we do to finish off? 3 and 1, or a random thing to say. Right, so now we'll do 3v1. So 1 Marine against the other 3. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, I give you the king of the mat! Next one. And definitely this one. Right, again, I'll say it again, okay, do not try us at home. I don't want to be seeing this out tonight when I'm having a few beers, alright? Leave it for us to do. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We're going to do another one down there, our area, it's the best area, because the Royal Marine area, down there at 15:30. That's 3:30, okay? One more big round of applause, the Commando Recruitment Troop. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's definitely confirmed this time. Never seen this before, but we're going this DFDS Seaways ferry joining us for the show, so we must have a lot of people on there paying extra money to go on board and watch from the flight line. It's getting a little bit busier now. This is 40 minutes before the due to start showing, so there we go. Red Hours will be opening.
Aerobatic team for 2013, the Red Arrows! Red 1 pulls the team up at 4G in a loop, where Reds 8 and 9 now tuck in to form the Red Arrows' famous Diamond 9 trademark formation. The jets are slowing down to about 150 miles an hour now at the top of this loop, reaching a height of 6,000 feet. At this slow speed, the controls become less responsive, so the pilots work very hard to maintain that Diamond 9 formation. Red 1 is squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his second year leading the team, but he was a wingman with the Red Arrows from 2005 to 2007 and ended up leading the synchro pair. He's a former Jaguar weapons instructor and Jaguar display pilot.
16 squadron then. Yeah, that's good.
Smoke comes on as Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle to show us the planned form of the American fighter jet, the F-15 Eagle. We put this in a display this year to pass thanks to our American colleagues who showed us support during the Battle of Britain on the Eagle squadrons. But now in from the right-hand side at 400 miles an hour, this is the Eagle roll. And now, boys and girls, as the canopies come towards us, they'll see you waving, arms in the air. We fly the majority of our formations with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side. The even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. Red 6 and 7, the synchro pair, tend to fly directly behind the leader in line astern. On the bottom of the formation now is Red 4, Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. He's in his second year with the team and is the team's executive officer. He's a former Hawk flying instructor and Hawk display pilot, and operationally he flew the Harrier GR9. The smoke's back on now as the team form another shape, this time representing the iconic supersonic airliner, and they're about to come left with some red, white and blue to show the very best of British, and hopefully a big round of applause as they show you Concorde. This year is the 70th anniversary of Operation Chastise, which was the famous Dambusters raid carried out by 617 Squadron on the night of the 16th of May 1943. Those brave aircrew flew their 19 Lancaster bombers deep into enemy territory to drop their bouncing bombs and complete their mission. 617 Squadron still fly today with the Tornado GR4, and it's just been announced that 617 Squadron will be the first unit to operate the Air Force's new Joint Strike Fighter. But now in from the left-hand side to commemorate 70 years since the Dambusters, this is Lancaster. One of our pilots has completed a tour with the famous Dambusters squadron. Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson, is on the leader's left wing now, and he's in his first year with the Red Arrows. He completed his first tour in the Royal Air Force with 617 Squadron, where he flew the Tornado GR4 over Iraq and Afghanistan. He transferred to 9 Squadron, again flying over Afghanistan, but also over Libya in 2011. Smoke's back on now to form another shape. This time it's our tightest shape. The jets in this formation are around 5 to 6 feet apart. Coming in from the right-hand side, this is the Apollo roll. Climbing up to 2,500 feet. Another big wave, boys and girls. On the leader's right wing now is another of our first-year pilots. That's Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr. Ollie is in his first year with the team, as I say. He's another former Tornado GR4 pilot and has spent a tour as a Hawk flying instructor at RAF Valley, where we train our advanced fast jet students. Smoke's back on now to form another shape, this time Typhoon, aimed to depict the delta wing platform of the Royal Air Force's new multi-role combat aircraft, the Eurofighter Typhoon. You're about to see it displayed later on, but we have 4 frontline squadrons of Typhoons, whose primary duty it is to protect the airspace of the UK and the Falkland Islands. In from the left-hand side now, at 400 miles an hour, about to pull up at 4G. This is the Typhoon Loop.
Intercom.
One of our pilots is a former Typhoon pilot. Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Mike Child, is moving to the far side of the formation as we look at it now, and he's in his 2nd year with the team. He's another former Hawk flying instructor and Hawk display pilot. He then transferred to the Typhoon, where he flew on quick reaction alert duties in both the UK and the Falkland Islands. Accelerating now, back to 400 miles an hour. The G builds up to 4G in a shape called Signet. In the middle of the left-hand wing as we look tail on is the last of our first-year pilots. He's Red 5, Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve is another former Hawk flying instructor, and he was posted to the Harrier GR9, but only spent a short time flying the aircraft before it was taken out of service. And he transferred to the Tornado GR4, where he flew over Libya in support of Operation Elemi in 2011. The smoke's back on now to form another shape. You'll see Red 6 and 7 move to their respective sides to form Big Vixen, named after the 1960s naval fighter, the Sea Vixen. And for the last roll of the first half of the display, this is the Big Vixen roll. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, where you've seen all 9 aircraft flying in close formation, giving us some very graceful aerobatic manoeuvres in different shapes. We're now going to change the tempo as we show you how the Hawk aircraft can perform. We're flying the Red Arrows aircraft. Is the BAE Systems Hawk T1, which was designed as an advanced jet and weapons trainer. Has been in service with the Royal Air Force since 1976. Very agile and precise. We're about to show you why we all love to fly it. You're going to see the formation split into 2 now. The front 5 aircraft, Reds 1 to 5, are called Enid, after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And the back 4, Jippo, Reds 6 to 9, named after the first gentleman to lead the 4-ship when the Red Arrows first started flying their 9 ships in 1968. But now, a new manoeuvre for 2013. It's directly to the front. Get your cameras ready to start the second half of the display. This shape is called Feathered Arrow. It's a bit of a mouthful to say on the radio, so we shortened it to Fred. And now, reaching 6,000 feet, Enid go right and Jippo go left. This is the 5-4 split.
прям возле маяка сейчас вышли посмотреть.
Максим, иди вверх. Я держу, Дим, я держу. Падай вверх, я держу. Падай вверх.
Enid, stay with us now for an oblique loop where you'll see them move into a formation shape called Leaders Benefit, which is like the front section of the Lancaster we showed you in the first half. I'm going to talk a little bit more about 617 Squadron now, which was formed in only March 1943, just 2 months before the Dambusters raids took place, and that was at our home base of RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire. During the war, the 6 series squadrons were reserved, or belonged to the specialist squadrons. But nowadays they belong to our reserve units, which truly supplements the RAF's regular services. But if you'd like to find out more about the RAF Reserves, please visit the stand here at Sunderland or search online for RAF Reserves. As Enid finished to our left, now look directly to your front and get your cameras ready for a very dynamic manoeuvre. This is the detonator. With his smoke on to the right-hand side is Red 6 and leader of the synchro pair, Flight Lieutenant Chris Lyndon Smith. It's Smythe's 3rd and final year with the Red Arrows, and he's another former Hawk, Tornado GR4 pilot and Hawk flying instructor. On the right, he's chased down by Red 9, and on the left with the smoke is Red 7, chased down by Red 8. The aircraft descend to just 100 feet above the sea, and they are closing at over 850 miles an hour to perform the amazing Jippo Pass.
Get ready, Victoria. We're going to fly right towards each other.
The synchro pair leave their smoke on and turn away from us now at 6G, or 6 times the force of gravity, where everything in their bodies is weighing 6 times more than normal. So those pilots working hard to counter the G-forces as they point back towards us and fly the Cyclone. The synchro pair slingshot out to our front. We need to look left for Enid.
Stay down, please, sweetheart.
The wings of Enid drop down to form an inverted V shape, and if you look to your right, you'll see a lone jet. That is Red 9. He's about to fly in between Enid's V as they complete the Goose.
Victoria, watch there, please.
I've seen a panel hanging down at the back of Enid's jets there. That's the air brake. We're using that to slow the aircraft down by creating drag. A secondary effect of that is the need to have a higher power setting to maintain speed, and that in turn gives us a very deep red and blue colour, as you can see as Enid climbs steeply to our right. Now look directly to the front for the synchro pair, pulling up at 5G and 500 miles an hour.
To the front.
The aircraft climbed to a height of around 7,500 feet, and as the smoke comes on, Synchro draw their hearts. The Red 7 on the right of this heart would like to dedicate this to his partner Jen's brother Robbie and his wife Gemma, and they've got their daughter Izzy with them and their new 2-week-old son Zach. So congratulations on the arrival of Zach. This one's for you. Coming through the middle, drawing the spear, is the team's Cupid. Red 8, Flight Lieutenant Ben Plank. Planky's in his 4th year with the Red Arrows, is another former Hawk flying instructor and Harrier GR9 pilot. Last year, Ben led the synchro pair and he'll be leaving the team at the end of this season. Back to the synchro pair now, red 6 on our right and red 7 on our left. Descending back to 100 feet. They're going to fly the double rolls. Right, 45 degrees now, you'll see Enid are being joined by reds 8 and 9. Pulling up at 4G in a 7-shift Vixen formation. Red 1 now twist this loop through 90 degrees towards us in what's known as a quarter clover. And now get your cameras ready for the good bit, ladies and gentlemen. This is the vertical break. Looking left and right again now for the synchro pair. This time red 6 on our left and red 7 on our right. Closing at 800 miles an hour. They're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360 degree 6G turns. This is the carousel. Notice at each of the crosses, the pilots are swapping their smoke colour using the buttons on the control column to control the red, white and blue smoke individually. Now look to your right, 45 degrees for Enid.
Oh, there they are.
With a little bit more red, white and blue, they're drawing a snake-like shape of smoke in the sky as they fly the Python. See the pilots turn their smoke white there. We're producing that smoke by injecting regular diesel fuel into the aircraft's 400-degree engine exhaust, and that causes it to vaporize. To get the red and blue, we simply add a dye to the diesel, and we can carry 5 minutes of white smoke and 1 minute each of red and blue in a specially modified container beneath each aircraft. So now keep looking left where you'll see Jippo coming back for one of my favourite manoeuvres. Here we'll see red 6 and 7 fly in inverted close formation as reds 8 and 9 roll around them in the corkscrew. See 6 and 7 upside down there, boys and girls. Give them a wave as they fly past at 400 miles an hour. Red 7 there working very hard, flying only 8 feet away from Red 6's jet, doing it upside down where all the corrections are in the opposite sense, with all the blood rushing to his head. But now look left again and find the headlights of Enid. The inside pilots perform tight matched rolls to the outside of the formation in the rollbacks. their very dynamic rollbacks. Look back to the front for Jippo and the return of a crowd favourite manoeuvre with your cameras ready.
Oh, see them. Oh, they are.
Reds 8 and 9 roll around 6 and 7, who perform their own rolls and split in the Jippo break. His smoke on to the left is Red 7 and Synchro 2, Flight Lieutenant James McMillan. It's his second year with the team. He's another former Hawk flying instructor and Harrier John I pilot. He actually grew up in New Zealand, and his mum and dad, Connie and Malcolm, have come all the way from New Zealand to watch him display here at Sunderland this afternoon. Hello, Connie and Malcolm. It's worth mentioning that Jim's partner Jen is also an officer in the Royal Air Force. She's currently stationed in the Falkland Islands on a 6th-month tour of duty. So please now take a moment to bear in mind all of those military personnel who are deployed overseas. Now, Synchro's final manoeuvre of the display. This is the opposition barrel roll. And please, a big round of applause for the fabulous Synchro pair. Looking directly to the front now for Enid 8 and 9 and the display's finale. Back in Vixen formation, this is the Vixen break. We are the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Red 1 smoke come on now as he rejoins the 9 ship together to recover to Newcastle Airport, where our team of Blues will be turning the aircraft around, putting some more smoke in, putting some more fuel in before we then have to fly back to our home base of RAF Scampton, just north of Lincoln, where we have a display at Royal Air Force College Cranwell this evening as part of the Royal Air Force's Benevolent Funds fundraiser at a concert there at College Hall. I'd like to thank everybody in the North East for the support they show our armed forces. There's lots to see and do here about the armed forces at Sunderland, so please visit them in the stands here on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, if I get a big enough cheer from everybody in the crowd, I'll transmit that cheer. So as soon as the coloured smoke comes on, a big, big cheer, and then I'll pass it to the pilots in the cockpit. Sound good? It didn't sound good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a big cheer when the coloured smoke comes on. Gentlemen, for the last time, it's the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. I'd like to thank you very much.
From the Army Air Corps in Middleborough. There we go. See the crew from what I meant to do. There from the Lynx. It's not often you see a helicopter doing that. We have Captain Eddie Brown, who's second in command of number 671 Squadron. Look at that, putting the aeroplane over in the loop and then rolling the right way up to the top. I think the fixing pilot was all that from Cuba. And second in command is Captain Alex Cranthorne, who's the adjutant of number 2 Training Army Air Corps Squadron. Both of them based at Middleborough. Putting up once again for a penny turn at the top there. The fixed-wing aircraft full turn. Now flying away from us and pulling up to 800 feet. Now this is a good one for the cameras as they perform their first backflip. There we go, right over the top. Have you ever seen a helicopter looping?
Army Air Corps Lynx, by the way.
Signature manoeuvre and unique to the Army Air Corps Lynx. Pulling the aircraft up again. That's hunting over at the top. Negative G in the cockpit there.
That way? Can you see it?
And now the aircraft doing what no other fixed-wing aircraft, aerobatic aircraft can do, actually just stopping and hovering before backflipping once again.
Ashley's got it. You've got it. Are you taking my orange bag?
As well as being highly aerobatic, as you can tell, the Lynx also still holds the world land speed record, which it has held for the last 27 years, bunting once again. Look at that, the nose and tail switching places there in the sky. So if you like a bit of a gamble, have a little discussion amongst yourselves. How fast do you think that world speed record is in miles per hour? I'll tell you at the end of the display. So have a guess. Helicopter, how fast do you reckon? I will say that the Lynx helicopter, which is a Westland Lynx, it was a specially modified one, and they stripped out all the surplus weight to gain every advantage. But it's still an astounding number. First of two Lynxes we'll be seeing today. Second one for the Royal Navy later on. This one is the Lynx AAC for the Army, the attack helicopter. An easy way to differentiate the Navy from the Army Lynx is that the Army Lynxes have skids underneath instead of wheels. That's so they can land in muddy fields without the aircraft sinking and tipping over, as happened to that Russian aircraft that was taking some salmon fishers up to the Arctic. Something in the papers this week you may have read about, where a helicopter landed in boggy ground, sunk, tipped over, broke the blades, hit the passengers who just got out of the air. And the Navy helicopter has skids, that's to make it more easy to manoeuvre the aircraft on the back of a frigate, or a through-deck cruiser, or aircraft carrier when we get them again.
These are the Matadors, close formation aerobatic team.
Aerobatics like that. Steve, the number 2 there, almost and what a striking picture that makes. Great colour scheme against that blue and white sky backdrop. Of course, the Red Bull Air Race champion for, I think it was 2009 and 2010. One of the 3 Brits at the time who were racing. Steve Jones, his wingman, also competed. Steve never won the championship, but won several races. And I remember he had a close brush with the ground at one of the US Air races out in Arizona, losing the bearing on his undercarriage, so low, so close to the ground was he. And then the other one, Nigel Lamb, of course, who also... So now, look to the top of this manoeuvre. At the top, the rudder goes in, the aircraft just flies sideways, so close to each other. That really is the Matadors' signature manoeuvre. Absolutely fantastic. Now spacing out, pulling up as they climb vertically. And watch at the top, hanging almost motionless before doing a tail slide and then hammer heading back down through the smoke trails towards the sea below. A great comment I heard Paul Bonham say is that his job as the Matador leader is to startle, surprise and amaze the spectators without startling, surprising or amazing his wingman, Steve Jones. At the Biggin Hill Air Show a few years ago, they did exactly that. If any of you have heard of Biggin Hill, at the end of one of the runways, there's a valley which the aircraft used to dive down was always spectacular, seeing an aerobatic maneuver ending below the ground. And then that became forbidden. But on one of the last Biggin Hill air displays, these two were displaying, and as they went down along the runway, they disappeared into the valley. I said to Steve afterwards, what was all that about them? He said, don't blame me, I was just following Paul, and suddenly saw treetops going past me. Now back in towards us, that excellent smoke system, and now we must track the aircraft as they split to right and left. For some synchronized aerobatics, each aircraft performing the same maneuver to right and left. A number of aerial rolls on the way up, pausing at the top, pulling over before flying in towards each other now for synchronized opposition maneuvers. Miles an hour, see how close they are. There they each have their defined roles. Paul Ronald's job as the leader is to fly the line. Steve Jones' job as the wingman is to miss his leader. Now there's some negative G as they're performing some fancy shapes up there. This aircraft, the Extreme Air XA-41. Single-seat version of the XA-42, which is a two-seater, built in Germany. As you've seen the guys demonstrating, an amazing rate of roll, more than 450 degrees a second, so they can complete a roll literally in the blink of an eye. A maximum speed of 210 knots, that's about 230 miles an hour. Back in formation now. Inverted. Look at that, we're looking into the cockpits there. That's very uncomfortable for the pilots, about -3, -4. Paul rolling inverted as they pull up for a loop, while Steve pulls. Paul Bottom is pushing negative G to get round the outside of that loop. That is very uncomfortable. The force of gravity trying to throw him out of the cockpit up at the top there. Only restrained by his 5-point safety harness. That is amazing. Oh, we're not rolling out, he's going for another one. Just like being on a roller coaster. Now Steve rolling the right way up, on the way out. It looks like Steve's propeller is about to do some serious damage to the wingtip of his leader. But such is the skill and expertise of these guys, they know just how far away to stay to keep it looking fantastic, but keeping it safe. Performing aerobatic manoeuvres like these in such close proximity needs great skill in the pilot, immense trust between the two pilots, and that in itself is born out of many hours of practice together. Coming up now for the break, there they go. And exiting to the left, Steve low, going fast, pull high to the left, rolling slowly away. That was the Matadors. What a superb display.
Dropping down now. Can't see on the screen, so bear with me.
Usually pushes the cockpit back.
Oh, there it is. Pocahontas.
The Hawker Hunter was the RAF's mainstay through the 1950s and 60s. It first flew on the 20th of July 1951, so just a week ago, and 52 years. 62 years, I should say. It was armed with 12 30mm cannon and able to carry a range of weapons on hardpoints underneath the wings. And performed a range of duties in the service of no less than 19 air forces around the world. Several world speed records were gained by the aircraft, including the world absolute speed record. That was on the 7th of September 1953 with a speed of 727.6 miles an hour was achieved by the famous pilot Neville Duke. Speaking of speed records, I didn't give you the answer to the Lynx speed, did I? So if you were having a little bet amongst yourselves, the answer is 249 miles an hour from the Lynx, the world speed race. The American Sabre aircraft that went on to become a useful ground attack aircraft, replacing Vampires and Venoms, and was later used for reconnaissance and development. When I was doing my RAF pilot training, people were going into the NAC and then the Hawk, but in the days of the NAC pilot, which was a very small aircraft, the taller guys who were too big for the NAC were put into the Hunter, which I think was no misfortune at all. So we go for misfortune. Almost 2,000 Hunters were built. Let's compare that with the more than 20,000 Spitfires and Seafires which were built during the Second World War. Just to emphasise Jonathan's wicked sense of humour, as epitomised by the colour scheme, by the name, misdemeanour, and also the aircraft registration, which is Golf Papa Sierra Sierra Tango, or PST. Jonathan's father was a Yorkshireman who served for the Fleet Air Arm as a Royal Naval Aeronautical Engineering Officer during the Second World War, and that inspired Jonathan to start his flying career when he joined the Royal Navy at the age of 17. After officer training, he was given 10 hours of flying experience in the Tiger Moth, then posted to learn on the South Wales. His operational flying took place on the Sea Vixen, FAW-2, and he had what was described as an enthusiastic approach to combat flying. And of course, as he was in the Navy, a sailor, at the last count, his logbook includes over 120 aircraft types, from the Blériot aircraft right towards the Middle East. And a slow roll upper side of the aircraft. And when asked what his favourite aircraft is of all those 120 aircraft types, Jonathan's got a very original answer. He says, "It's always the aircraft I have yet to fly."
It's time for the slow pass where apparently he has the canopy
outside the airframe into the slipstream, because even at low speed that would probably dislocate his shoulder. But he will be waving with the canopy open.
I can't see it on the screen, but I can see it in the sky, so bear with me.
We all have to wave back.
There it is. Let's see if he does have his canopy open.
Here he comes now, from the left, low and slow. So let's all give him a wave, that's right, Jonathan wave.
Manoeuvre of chaos of the day. This is the Blaze Champagne Bounty.
Don't need to do a commentary because you're getting it off the tannoy there. Yeah. Snarf. These are better than the red arrows. Oh, they're actually red arrows usually.
Now the blades are going to fly directly back towards this next manoeuvre. It is pretty exciting. They're going to break across from one another. There's going to be 10G in every single cockpit. You're listening to hear Blade 1 call the manoeuvre. The blade breaks. Now when they're up there doing manoeuvres like that, it is as close as it looks. They spend a lot of time practicing and they are actually flying just feet apart. Now the blades are flying around the display circle. They're going to get ready to fly down the display line towards one another. Now the leading aircraft are going to perform what's called an aileron roll, whilst the trailing aircraft are going to perform a barrel roll. Following that, they'll meet in the middle and then pull up into the vertical. So that's the barrel roll followed by the aileron roll there. Outside, they're going to flat roll away. In the meantime, blades 1 and 4 in the middle, and they're actually going to drop backwards through their own smoke. He's our solo display pilot. Andy is a big friend of mine, but once he's inside the cockpit, he is absolutely bonkers. He's pushing up to half a loop there, so that's negative G, the blood bulging in his head. He's going to snap roll his aircraft back down towards the sea. And then he's going to pull up into the vertical for a manoeuvre called the launch back, which is actually a Czechoslovakian word, which means to give you a headache or hangover. And I'm sure you can appreciate why it's given that name if you watch Andy. Andy's going to be back a little bit later on for some more solo display flying. In the meantime, if you look to your left, you see blades 1, 2 and 3 flying towards us. They're going to demonstrate the roll capability of the Extra 300. They're going to fly the blade twinkle rolls. He's going to rejoin his blades teammates. He's going to fly what's known as a lag pursuit join, where he loops across over the back of the formation that actually used to be used by fighter pilots to avoid them flying out in front of their enemy's guns. And he's just using it today to lose a little bit of speed before he slots into the formation at the back there. Now something you might not know about the blades is that we're actually world record holders. Back in 2011 we set the world record for the most number of consecutive formation loops. And just to show you what that looks like, 10 feet apart is the loop the loop. To loop with a difference though, Mark, who's the team leader, is going to bend the team at the top and bring the blades back round in front of you, showing off the underneath of our aircraft. We've got a new livery this year, we're very proud to be British, and just to show that we've got a fantastic Union Jack design underneath the wings. So as the blades come round back towards us on the seafront, make sure you get some good photos of that Union Jack. It's a brilliant one for the cameras. So get them ready, this is the blades box bed. Now, as Devon's doing a bit of a shimmy to the right there into line abreast formation, this next manoeuvre is our trademark manoeuvre. We're the only display team in the world that does this. It's formation flying from 4 aircraft at 0 miles an hour. The blades are going to pull up into the vertical. They're all going to stall to the left as we look at it and fly back down the smoke of the guy next to them. This is the blade hammerhead. It's actually the most technically difficult manoeuvre to fly in the whole show, that one. And if you thought the pull-up looked a little bit familiar, it may be because you recognise it from the Yorkshire Tea advert, which we're starring in this year. Now the blades are flying a beautiful Spitfire roll here. It's dedicated to the brave few who fought in the Battle of Britain and it's dedicated to the Queen's Royal Air Force heritage. Now leading the team today we've got Mark Cutmore, Blade 1, otherwise known as Cutty. This is Cutty's second year leading the team. He joined the Blades back in 2008 as Blade 3 and then spent 3 years as the solo display pilot. Cutty was a Jaguar pilot in the Royal Air Force before going on to join the Red Arrows for 3 years. His last posting in the RAF was as the National Advisor to the Saudi Hawk display.
Oops, sorry, got attacked by a wasp.
Now this next maneuver is another great one for the cameras. Blade 4 is going to be upside down and all the rest of the team are going to be putting in a boot full of rudder. 40-degree angles to one another. This is called crazy flying. Now Blade 1 is really having to throttle back his engine here so that Blades 2 and 3 who are angled to him on the outside can hold that angle right next to him all the way down the display line. Now Cutty is joined by Blade 2 Miles Garland. This is Miles' first year as Blade 2. He's the only Now we fly the extra 300 which is an aerobatic aircraft. It's quite a small plane, we only have a 24-foot wingspan, but just to create some big air, the guys are going over the top there for the Blades Whirlpool. Flying in the Blade 3 position today, we have Ian Smith, otherwise known as Smithy. Upside down on top of Blade 4, giving each other the bird. Blade 1 is pushing negative G, Blade 4 is pulling positive G into the vertical, they'll stall away from each other for the mirror stall split. Now what you're about to see shouldn't really happen in an aircraft. It is absolutely incredible. They're going to throw the tail of the aeroplane over the front of the engine. It's like being inside a washing machine. This is the Blade twin tumble. Now it is non-stop action. If you look out, you can see Blades 2 and 3 flying towards us. Blade 2 is flying a quick barrel roll around Blade 3 before they cross in front of each other for the 1v1 split.
The Apache is a gunship and is mounted with 3 types of weapons. It has a gun, rockets and missiles. And did you know that the gun, which is located underneath the nose of the Apache helicopter, can be aimed by the helmet of one of the pilots? So that one of the pilots only has to look to a target and pull the trigger, and guns rounds will be fired towards the target.
Just go look it in your head.
The helicopter is coming back to perform a roll maneuver. And after this roll maneuver, it will turn around with a split-S maneuver, and thereafter it will make a full looping without a turn in the top, and it will shoot flares again. Wally and Kaas, both pilots in the Hawk 01, are gaining some airspeed to perform this looping maneuver. The Apache can fly almost 180 knots, so that's over 200 miles an hour. And there they come. The next maneuver is one of the most difficult maneuvers for Wally and Kaas to perform. It will climb out to a stationary hover and fly rearward.
While he's doing that, he will point his nose towards the water and gain airspeed while diving towards the water. While he's diving and gaining airspeed over 200 miles an hour, he will make a right turn over 360 degrees towards the right. This is called the vertical spin. The altitude Wally is looking for is over 1800 feet, so that's more than 600 meters. And in this short amount of dive, he will gain more than 100 knots of airspeed. Wally and Kaas are preparing for this difficult maneuver, and there they go, pointing down, gaining airspeed, and turning the aircraft more than 360 degrees. They will fly out from this maneuver and turn around with a hammerhead maneuver. Right on top of this hammerhead maneuver, they will pop some flares for you, and turning the aircraft back around, nose down towards the sea. This Apache solar display shows the capability of the Apache helicopter, which is designed to fight in combats like Iraq and Afghanistan. But this maneuver shows what the Apache helicopter is actually capable to do. Next maneuver will be a quarter clove leaf, and stand by with your cameras for the flares in 3, 2, 1, and there they are.
There's a thumbnail sorted.
If you look careful to the helicopter, you see the number 100, and that is in respect of the 100th anniversary of military aviation in the Netherlands. So this year we painted the helicopter in our national color orange with the numbers 100 on the side of the helicopter.
Shame.
Wally and Kaas are aiming for about 150 knots to perform next roll maneuver, as you see right now. And after this maneuver, they will dive backwards towards show center. The show is almost coming to an end. Make sure they will, you will look and wave to them if they are setting up for the low flyby. I will give you a heads up when they are doing that. And there are Wally and Kaas diving towards the water, setting up for the low flyby. I know for sure that both pilots are waving to you, so make sure you wave back. They will turn around and set up for a large bow in appreciation of your presence today here. And I have direct communication with Wally and Kaas, and they will have a message from you live from the aircraft, so be ready to hear.
From the Apache cockpit, we hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Again, many thanks today. That was Captain Kaas.
Now, if you haven't got two sleepballs, notwithstanding this heat, give yourself a pinch, because you must be dead or asleep, I think. What an awe-inspiring sight and sound that was. 5 Merlin engines flying in close formation. I say 5 because the Spitfire is the Mark 19, which had the later Griffin engine. So, and I'm trying to remember which was which. I spotted them as they went over. I think the Spitfire was the one on the left. I'll have a look through the things and let you know. So the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Yes, the Spitfire's on the inside of that turn, the lower side. Hurricane at the top. Formed at RAF Biggin Hill in July 1957. So 43, 46, 56 years ago. Named the historic aircraft flight, which I actually think is more appropriate. Because, let's face it, there weren't any Lancasters in the Battle of Britain, but the Battle of Britain Memorial flight is very evocative. And it's a very evocative name. And this particular one rolled off the production line at Harden in Chester on the 31st of May 1945. So after the end of the war in Europe, but before the end of the war in the Far East. That mighty Bombay, which wasn't used to carry the bouncing bomb of the Dam Busters raid, because the unique cylindrical design of the bouncing bomb meant it didn't fit in the Bombay, so it was slung underneath the aircraft, held on some special rotating pulleys that gave it some spin, so that it was spinning as it hit the water to enable it to skip across the top of the water, over the anti-submarine nets, hit the dams, sink right next to the concrete wall of the dam and explode to maximum effect, magnified by the water itself.
Right, we're going home now because I'm getting burnt. Batteries are running low and the wife is getting burnt too. I'm very tired, but I'll sort of show you this before we go. This is that road I showed you earlier with a few people on it.
With the new Lightning 2 aircraft operating from it, it'll be a potent asset.
Yeah, it's a bit busier now.
Until the Lightning comes, maybe we can...
Quit being dirty. You're a dirty boy.